Balancing business ambitions with mom's guilt. Ooh, that's a tough one, right? Welcome to day 28 of Live for Life Satisfaction. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Viv, your deep life satisfaction, vitality, and happiness strategist, helping you high performers and success-minded individuals lead happier, more vibrant, fulfilling lives, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And you deserve to wake up with passion, to live with purpose, and to sleep with peace. So today's a little bit different because we're talking to you moms, but it can apply to some dads too, okay? Balancing business ambitions with mom's guilt, okay? Mom's guilt. If you're a mom, I know you felt mom's guilt. I'm a mom, and I can say that I have felt guilty for so many things that are probably not even all my fault, most of which might not even be my fault. And I think, and it's so common as mothers to be so hard on ourselves, and particularly for women, I'm going to say, that are building businesses, or have really demanding careers, and they have to kind of go against those very natural instincts of wanting to be with your offspring, and also the societal expectations of like, you're supposed to be with your offspring. Even though we live in a modern society, things have changed. There's stay-at-home dads and everything like that. My husband was one of them. So, but also there are these sort of biological roles and cultural, from societal, from way back when, that we still remember, that still kind of play a role in our heads, in our psychology. And so for a lot of women, it can be very difficult, and you can kind of feel guilty, and, it can feel selfish to put your career ahead of your baby. No, don't do that. I'm going to talk about how to deal with that. And, and speaking about, I don't want to get too much in the difference between men and women, because I don't like too many generalizations. However, for men, a lot of men, not all, but for a lot of men, it's easier to sort of step into the provider role and feel like they're really fulfilling an important obligation when they're working, in terms of providing for the family and taking care of their offspring in that way, right? But for mothers, it's a little bit more complicated, which is why today's live is directed a little bit more at you moms with our unique constellation of problems. But if you're dad, stick around. This could be of value too. So, I'm going to share my own experience, right? Because I have business and I'm a mom. And my son is now 3.5. Okay, so now he's going to preschool, and he's not around all the time. So I have a bit of time for my business, and it's a little bit easier. But I remember, especially when he was little, because I started working when he was 5 months. Now, very little. I just had a few hours here and there. But any time without my baby, I felt tremendous guilt. And even leading up to putting him in preschool, which was, recently, just that decision of like putting him in every day for like how many hours? No, I'm a bad mom. I should be with my baby. That's how I felt, I really felt a strong sense of duty that I should be there for him, But here's the other side of the coin, right? Other than the fact that I need to provide for my family, right? Which I do need to provide for my family. The other side of the coin is, thinking about what's best for my son, which is not just me and my love. Of course, he needs me, my love, and my support and my guidance, right? But there's a lot of other things that can benefit him. And so, like the social environment, if he's in the right daycare or preschool, or with the right family members taking care, or babysitter or nanny, or whatever your situation is, they can be a tremendous positive influence on his or her upbringing and well-being. But that aside, we're talking about just like mom's guilt, business ambitions, mom's guilt, right? So it's okay to have ambitions. It's okay to have dreams. It's okay to have goals. It's okay to take care of yourself. And not only is it okay, it's critical. Okay? If expanding who you are, right? If growing, by the way, is vital for everybody to be fulfilled, right? So if growing into your potential and expanding your business is part of that, or whether you just need to do it because you need to provide, right? You're being an excellent role model for your son or daughter, for your offspring, right? And that's a really important thing, because I also thought about this. I was like, well, what is my son learning if I'm just singing at home all day and just like staring at him and playing with him? Like, of course, there are house chores and things to do, of which there are many. But when you have a very small child, it's sometimes hard to do anything, except they really do demand a lot of your attention, right? But what are they learning? There are opportunities there too, like my little 3.5-year-old, he knows how to cook. He can cook his own breakfast, like on the stove with the oatmeal, everything. Always supervised, okay? But, he's very self-sufficient because he can even move furniture to get up and wash his hands and do all this kind of stuff. Because I took advantage of the opportunity of being home with him when I was home with him and his dad was home with him, of teaching and learning, right? So you can do things there too. But, what skills do I want him to learn? Like, yes, those basic life skills are very important, but as he gets older, I do want him to learn that he too needs to carve out a professional purpose in his life, a way of making a living. We all have to make a living, and it's a good thing because it gives us a really powerful purpose, a wonderful purpose. So in doing that, in showing, so there was a time, for the longest time, we didn't want screens around my son. I didn't want screens, and neither did my husband. So we didn't do the cell phone parenting, which I'm not judging. I understand. Now there have been moments that I give him a little video for when he has to have his hair cut, for example, right? So I understand. But I'm just saying, I didn't want, to just be parenting him with screens or TV shows and things like that. So we had basically none of that going on. I'm having a mommy brain fart. I forgot where I was going with that. I was a bit weird because I didn't want him to, also was worried about the influence of technology too early. Of course, there's neuroscientific reasons why I didn't want him watching screens that were, for his brain health and stuff like that. But then I was like, well, he does eventually have to get exposed to computers, maybe not at 2, but, then I thought, okay, a good thing. I didn't want him also watching me just on my phone. Everybody's on their phone way too much, right? And I just thought this little human's looking at me for connection, and I'm just on my phone. Maybe I'm doing something super important, but that's just not what I wanted. So I neglected a lot of the phone. Poor phone felt very neglected, and just paid attention to my son. And then there came a time where it's okay, I got to get things done, right? So then I started teaching him, that there's time that me and him are present and we're connecting. And then there's time that mommy needs to get things done. And sometimes it is on the phone. And I just say, I'm answering a message. I need to do this. I'm a little busy right now. I'll talk to you when I'm done, or things like that. And then start introducing him, when I had to get some work done on the laptop, I was doing stuff on the laptop. And, it's well, mommy's working. Well, why are you working? I'm well, because I want to. It's part of my calling. It's part of my purpose in life. But also I need to make a living. And then I explained to him how, money is important to buy food, shelter, clothes, the things we need, access to medical care in some circumstances and things like that. So kind of explaining him a little bit the economy of the world and how we're a part of it. And this leads back to balancing mom's guilt with business ambition, right? So the thing is, it's normal, it's natural to feel guilty, okay? Just know that you're setting a good example when you're showing your children or child that you're doing something that's important to you and it's important to life, right? It's important to your survival, the food, the money, and the food on the table. It's important. It's, if you were living in a tribe, and hunting for food, like your son or daughter would be learning to do those associated chores and tasks for survival. And a lot of us need to work to survive, right? And of course, I'm into doing so much more than that, like living, your life by design, creating the life of your dreams, learning how to bring fulfillment and happiness into each day while you're doing that, right? And having balance and time for all the things that are important in your life. That's all really, really important. And it's also important to give your son or daughter that gift of giving him a realistic picture of the world and a role model that they can admire and aspire to become like. So when you're feeling guilty, okay, just know that you can lean into that. And the other thing too is it's so critical and vital that you take care of yourself. And obviously that's your basic needs, like physical needs and mental needs, rest needs, connection needs, all that great stuff. But also, if your business ambitions are a part of your thriving, a part of your growth, a part of your fulfillment, there is nothing wrong with that. And there's everything right with modeling that for your child. As long as, you use your heart to gauge, like, am I doing this too much? Am I overdoing it? And ask yourself, am I modeling the kind of behaviors that I'm proud of? Am I modeling something positive, right? Because if not, well, then that's an opportunity to pivot and correct. So guilt, while it's natural, can also inform us. Sometimes I worked too many late nights and I didn't see my son always. I didn't always put him to bed. For the first few years, I put him to bed every single night. But then there were some nights that I didn't, which is okay. It was kind of nice. But then the guilt. And then I start to see, okay, well, there's a balance. Maybe one is okay, maybe two is too many, maybe three, I don't know, a week, right? So then you decide what's the right balance for your family, right? What's the right balance for your family? And your heart, your guilt will inform you, right? The guilt can be misleading, so be careful with that, right? Because, when you feel guilt, think, okay, what am I doing? Am I modeling the correct behaviors? Ask yourself, am I being the role model I want to be? If not, how can I get better, right? Am I giving myself the things I need to succeed, to feel fulfilled, to feel energetic, to feel restored, to feel rejuvenated, to have the patience, the love, the energy to parent the way that I want to? Am I giving my son or daughter what I want to give them in terms of quality time, right? And be realistic, okay? Because we can tend to be perfectionistic, which is an impossible standard because it's not real. No one's perfect. We're all human. And, perfection, as they say, is the lowest standard because it's an invisible, make-believe, non-existent standard. And it's a standard of doing nothing because you can't be perfect, right? Or you're stressing yourself out trying to be, which is the last thing that you want, okay? So I hope that today's little chat has helped make you think about or reframe your guilt as something that is normal and healthy and can be informative for you to make certain changes if certain changes are necessary. Or it can be soothed and you can kind of take a step back, right? And be like, I'm doing the right thing. You know, I'm taking care of myself, I'm taking care of business, I'm taking care of life, and I'm showing my son or daughter how to, you know, step into life, right? In a productive and a good way, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. It's absolutely priceless and precious, and I really want to hear it. And feel free to message me too if you want. And if you got value from today's session, as always, please like, share, follow, tap that little bell for notifications, and I will see you in the next one. And remember to wake up with passion, to live with purpose, so that you can sleep with peace, contentment. I did it right. I had a good day, right? Not perfect, but I made some progress in the right areas. See you on the next one.